Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull up so independent. We pull up so independent.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Sloan Blueprint. I am your co-host, Nicole Sloan.
And I'm Eric Sloan.
And we are elated that you joined us again today for another episode of fun and laughter and a few jokes.
Yeah. And
right?
MYTHBUSTERs.
MYTHBUSTERs. Hey, we know y'all like that, the MYTHBUSTERs. I know y'all saw that. But we're back, and kind of like the Fat Boys. The Fat Boys are back. Now, I ain't saying I'm back now. I ain't claiming that.
Here we go. Did we have a conversation about that already?
I just said I'm not claiming it. I'm speaking to it. Speaking.
Really?
But anyway, some of y'all probably too young to know that song. So I think we're telling on ourselves. We're telling our age.
That's the 80s.
Yep.
Good
Was
times.
it 80s? Yeah,
Good times.
80s. Yeah, you're right. But on the last episode, we decided to dispel some myths in business or about business.
Yep.
And so this time, we are going to debunk some myths about
Marriage. Ooh.
in relationships.
Absolutely.
It's going to get real good, y'all.
Well, and I think the first one is, if you look at it, you have conversations with individuals, and they're always saying, oh, when I get married, that's going to solve this problem. Ooh.
No.
I'm sorry to dispel that myth, but when you get married, that does not solve all your problems. If you had problems before marriage, you're going to have problems during the marriage unless you effectively communicate and resolve some of those tensions that you had before. Marriage is only going to heighten some of those things. Exactly. Oh my God.
Help us, Holy Ghost. And a lot of people think that marriage is like a magic wand. You just wave your magic wand and all your problems disappear. However, that's not the case, because really and truly, marriage can compound your problems if you go into it for the wrong reason.
Correct.
So you got to know that marriage will not solve your problems. It could intensify, like you said. And so that's why go into it with the right reasons. And then you just know that as you grow in marriage or in your relationship, you're going to work through those issues. Correct. And confront them as they come along.
So, dispelling that myth, it is not going to solve all your problems. You have to work at it. You have to communicate, and you have to love each other. Well, I guess another thing is, let's say, all couples, in a sense, or there's no conflict. In a relationship, or happy couples do not argue or are conflict free. That's what I'm looking for. Conflict free.
It happens every day. No, I'm just kidding.
I ain't gonna say every day.
No, I'm joking. It ain't every day. It's like every minute. No, I'm kidding. But yes, all couples experience conflict. But there is a way, y'all. There is a way, believe it or not, that you can communicate and resolve that conflict. Why you so tickled?
Every minute.
Don't be giving yourself away. Give myself away. Oh. But if you can't figure out how to resolve your conflict, then what you got to do is you got to seek some therapy or relationship manager to help you to get through those things. Because again, disagreement is going to come. It will happen. You won't see eye to eye all the time. You prioritize differently. Where I think we should, wash and separate the clothes like weekly. Some people might think that, it don't have to be done like that. Like maybe, I won't tell how long. How long you think?
Really?
I'm sorry, but hey, we just keeping it real. You want to do it too, but it just takes a lot longer than me. But anyway.
Really?
I'm sorry, I don't want to put you out there on Front Street. But the truth will set you free if you let it. Well, it'll help you.
See, well, that goes to the next thing. Well,
I know what you're going to say. What's the next thing?
Your mate should be able to read your mind. So right now, you should be able to read my mind that I'm not agreeing with that last statement.
Oh, bless your heart. Sorry. Like I said, the truth will help if you let it. But just because, that's a good point, just because you're married to someone or in a relationship, that does not give you the ability to read their mind.
Oh, no, absolutely not.
It just doesn't. If you expect this, then you're just setting yourself up to be disappointed and resentful, right? I mean...
I'm not going to say resentful.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you got to say then.
I'm not going to say resentful in reading their mind, but it's understanding each other, especially going back to what I said before. It all stems from communication, but understanding what's happening, I guess, in the relationship and environment, not necessarily reading your mind, but understanding the environment that you're in and what's going on.
Well, what I mean by resentful is if I expect you to read my mind and you don't, if I have a thought of how I think something should be or how it should go and you don't exactly know and I expect you to know, then that's when I can become resentful. That's my fault. But, you know, because again, I can't expect you to know my thoughts, right?
You need to know mine.
Sorry. Have 20, what, how many years? What years is 20?
Wait, you don't know?
2 years, going on 22 years. It's hard. You are a task. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not, no, I'm just kidding. But another myth that I was thinking about too is people always say the romance never dies for couples that are in love. That's not the case.
No, not at all.
People sometimes think that the romance or the passion doesn't go away. But to me, when you're married for so long, you become comfortable with that person. We've been together for 21, going on 22 years. And admittedly, that's where we would be sometimes. We just get comfortable because we're around each other every day. We feel like we know each other for the most part after this many years. You know, I know his hang-ups, he knows mine, a good bit of them. However, you know...
See, I think that's where the dating, and you have to continuously date and figure out new ways so that you don't become stale in your relationship. So dispelling that myth,
Right.
as what you were just saying, it's definitely going to take some work, and you still have to date. You still have to do the things that you did to get your mate. You still need to do the things to maintain your mate.
Come on now.
So the dating, coming up with new things, as if it becomes, not becomes, but you know, you may want to do a picnic, or what word am I looking for? Keep it exciting, keep it interesting.
I wouldn't. Can somebody take notes for me? Y'all take notes for me. Email them to me.
Really, keep it spontaneous.
Come on,
I think
spontaneous.
that's the word that I was looking for.
Right, and you know, I'll say this too. Most times, it's not even that the romance intentionally goes away. It just, you become so consumed with other things, with kids and with work and just life in general.
So since you bring up kids, what did it say? Having kids in your relationship, or if you're getting married and having kids, that's just going to make you closer.
Not so much.
Not necessarily.
Not so much.
Going back to the first thing that we said, if you're thinking that getting married is going to make you closer, do certain things, having kids is certainly not going to make you closer, because you bring in another human being in the world. And now your attention, not intentionally, is certainly going to be going towards your child. So if you're a mother or if you're a father, you may neglect each other, not intentionally again, but you may neglect each other, focusing on, hey, well, we got to raise a child. We have to do, we need to go get something to eat.
Right.
And then if you're working, you're going to work. Then you're getting off, then you're having to go to daycare, then you're bringing them home, then you're eating. So you're consumed with so many different things. So if you had issues before the child, then again, those issues are going to be heightened, because now you have another human being in the world that you're having to take care of. So now you're neglecting each other, not intentionally.
Right. And having a child is, of course, a beautiful thing to experience. But as you said, really, it brings on a whole new set of changes, challenges, complications. And you can't expect, just like we said, as far as what was the last thing you said? I'm sorry, but anyway, let me go on, because I lost my train of thought. But you can't expect a baby to fix your relationship problems.
Correct.
Because truthfully, those problems will intensify because the child is getting all of the attention, as you said. There's a myth. Some people believe that the kids come first in marriage.
Ooh.
That's not the case.
Absolutely
kids are
not.
a high priority in a marriage, but they should not be the highest priority.
Correct. So, of course, if you're following the biblical aspects of it, of course, God is going to be first, but then what's next is you and your spouse. So if you are in line with each other, then that should flow down to your children, but then you can start taking care of your children a little bit better, and then.
Right, that's true.
Right.
And which leads to thinking about how we've talked about before marriage being 50-50, and we know we've talked about it several
Correct.
times. Marriage is not 50-50, it's 100% on each side or both sides. And when it comes to taking care of the family, the work, even the emotional aspects of being in a relationship or a marriage, it can take a toll. Those kind of things take a toll on your marriage. And so that's why when we both give 100%, then we will find that each aspect of the relationship or marriage will be a lot more successful, whether it be the raising the kids or the work or just the personal, the social, or the romantic aspect.
Right. Well, and when you say, of course, 50-50 and then 100, that can be off just a tad bit because you may be giving 100% in this particular instance, and in another one, I may be giving 10%. And then in another occasion, I may be giving 100%, or if you want to look at it from a sports standpoint, we always use the term, well, you got to give 110%. Well, I may give 110% on something that I feel passionate about, obligated to do, but you may not feel as passionate about that particular instance. So you're not going to give it your all in that particular thing, but in something else you're going to, so it's always going to balance out, but still understanding it's not going to be a 50-50.
That's true.
So,
and you shouldn't expect your mate to do certain things or vice versa. Don't have such expectations. I can only wash the dishes, or you can only wash the cars, no, never mind.
Don't have unrealistic expectations.
I mean that. Y'all strike that from the record.
No. I receive it.
All right. You better watch what you receive. But and as far as even talking about the marriage or relationship, a lot of us feel that our relationships would be better if our partner changes.
I know.
I'll let you start on that.
I don't see that as happening because everybody's relationship is different. Everybody's upbringing is different. So how they look at things are going to be different. So what they read, the environments, everything is going to be different. So you can't expect them to, if they change, then it's going to be like this. Allow your mate to be themselves.
Right.
And then if they're able to be themselves and be comfortable, then to me, that's only going to heighten the relationship that you have with your spouse, because I feel, we feel comfortable with each other. I'm able to express my feelings, express if something is going good, something is going bad. But if you're trying to change that person now, he or she is trying to change how they authentically are to please, and then sometimes that brings up some forms of resentment.
Right.
And you certainly don't want to do that or have that.
And it's not necessarily about just making changes all the time. It's just tweaking some things about yourself, in order to make your relationship more successful. But a lot of times we've all felt like this in our relationship or marriage, because we say, well, things would be better if my partner changes, but really it's about us not wanting to accept the responsibility of our own actions.
So accept responsibility.
Accepting responsibility for our own actions. So what we do is we internalize it. We start pointing fingers. You said this and you did this, and I told you this, but you didn't do, and you didn't listen to my advice. And that's when you start to experience those rough patches in your relationship, because you're blaming your spouse or your partner for their problems, or for your problems, when in essence, I've said it before, it's about taking a look at the man in the mirror. Correct.
And what do you say as far as the pointing fingers? What is that old saying? If I'm pointing one finger at you, it's three coming back at you. So again, that taking responsibility and being accountable of your actions as well in your relationship.
Got to take accountability to make changes and improvements.
Well, and I think another thing, one of those myths is couples therapy. I think when some people hear couples therapy or going to see a counselor, they see that as a bad thing in a relationship. but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes when you're able to, both of you are able to go and then communicate some of your thoughts and then allow an authorized or equipped or a Holy Ghost filled third party
All right.
be able to give you some guidance and see it from a different point of view, then I think that is a positive thing. Sometimes if I'm not comfortable about a particular subject, or if a man or female is not able to effectively communicate about a particular subject, then that third party can help you to get those things out, because some things is trauma from your past that you may have never gotten over, and then that you're bringing into your marriage that you still need a little help in getting over. And sometimes you can't just do that alone and do that isolated. So.
And the relationship therapy is more of a preventative measure. So it's not necessarily to cure, but what you're doing is getting help before that small little thing, you know, how it erupts into a huge issue. So to me, it's just helping you to be able to prevent a preventative measure in knowing how to effectively resolve that conflict without blowing up and, you know, fussing or cussing each other out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to be doing it anyway. But really, you know, that to be able to peaceably resolve things or conflict.
But then with that also helps you to navigate through your environment, because as you're being able to communicate and openly communicate, that helps your environment as far as allowing people in your circle to be around. So to me, I say sometimes if you're looking at couple therapy, that's going to help you to be around other like-minded individuals. But then once you leave from there and then you get back into your normal environment, then it's going to help you to identify, like, not necessarily not hanging out with single folks, but most folks know you have your ratchet friends that, let's just be honest about it. You got some of your ratchet friends that that don't mean you no good.
I don't know what I think about that song. What's that song? Classy, bougie, ratchet. Is that a song? Isn't that a song? The kids probably get me after that. But you're right. You're absolutely right.
But and going back to environment, as you're looking at it, sometimes it's good to be around other positive couples in that. That's not a myth. That's definitely a truth. A truth that you want to have, being around other positive couples. That's and friends, because that actually gives you an outlet.
It does.
Where you can double date, go to a movie, or however, just go
to hold you accountable.
True.
You need other positive couples, people in your life to hold you accountable, tell you when you're wrong, you know, tell you when you blew up for no reason, or you know, you acted out of character or acted irrational. So I don't know about you, but I think we covered a good bit of, or we debunked pretty good bit of myths.
I think so.
Relationship or marriage myths.
Or misconceptions that you have as it relates to marriage, relationships. Now, I can tell you there are plenty more that we haven't addressed here.
A whole lot
so that
more.
may be something that we need to ask a question. On either social media platforms and get other people's point of view and their take on some myths that need to be debunked. But
we love that. Well,
and we certainly ask you to continue to follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook as well. So on all social media platforms. We also have a Twitter as well. So we put things on Twitter. So we ask you to follow us, give us your feedback. We certainly want to hear from you, and we thank you for continuing to follow us and to ride along with us on this journey.
Right. And also, feel free to email us your thoughts. If you've got some topics that you want us to discuss, or some guests that you may want us to have on the show, email us at info@sloanblueprint.com. Remember, tell everybody about the Sloan Blueprint. Your pastor, your cousin, your mom and them, everybody. Tell them to join us. We are just excited to be on, as Eric said, to be on this journey. It's definitely something, again, that we said is new for us, but we feel like we're getting a little more comfortable. What do you think?
Absolutely.
A lot more comfortable.
and don't forget the Boss Times 2 wave.
That's right. Boss Times 2.
Check it out. Hey, so we can go back, hey, ho.
Yeah, that's right. I told you we showing our age. But listen, y'all don't forget, join us next time for episode, is this episode 3? We lose count. Episode 4. This is episode 4.
Whatever it is.
Make sure you join us for the next episode, and please, as Eric said, like, share, and just continue to follow us. We are so appreciative that you are with us on this journey, and we want you all to stay blessed and be safe.
Here's the new beginnings. Here's the new beginnings. The pull up so independent. We pull up so independent.